one of the things that I think has been painfully obvious is that when we talk about economic left populism, most people agree with it. The second you push it into a DEI component is when you completely lose everybody. And so we have been very adamant about the fact that we think that Costco is one of the best run companies in the country. I think they do a fantastic job. And right now, the Teamsters are fighting for the Costco employees to get unionized, and Costco is fighting it. I'm not surprised they're fighting it. They're not just going to
like that they're fighting it, but you know, it doesn't take away that they've been good in the past, but it just means we don't like what they're doing right now. So both of those things are true.
And much like the criticism that we give to AOC, it's like you said, the Mockingjay. When you are supposed to be the person that people can actually rely on and trust, you deserve even more scrutiny. We don't expect the scum suckers to step up and do the right thing. It's the people that are actually that are cognizant of what's going on. They know the score. They know what needs to be done. And they choose to fuck up. So to me, I think criticism for Costco is very warranted. However, the problem we have is when you got grifting mother effers in the Democratic establishment like Al Sharpton, who just won't go away.
Oh my God. He is just,
he continues to prove why the Black community continues to suffer in irreparable ways that they never should. And of course,
because of leaders like him.
Of course. And so that he goes to a Costco and he does a complete pop in circumstance to be like, oh, they're a DEI corporation. They're great. How about just the fact that they generally are very good to their employees, they're very good to their customers, and they're just overall a company that cares. Now, I could argue that they should be very pro-union. Okay, that's fine. But they're still doing a pretty solid job. But this is what Mr. Sharpton wants to highlight.
I liked him better when he was really fat. Because then he sort of looked like Fat Albert. Now he's not fun looking at all. You guys got to watch what Tim Black said about this whole display.
Now, you think everyone in there is going to spend a couple $100 and Sharpton's going to pick up the tab? You think that that's what's happening?
No.
I don't.
No,
this is
and we're not even going to look. You could talk about the stunt itself, or we could talk about the fact that DEI is a bunch of bullshit. So,
or that it pays very well, as you can see from Jay.
Well, exactly. He's a total whore. But the DEI issue is really just an expanded, updated version of affirmative action, which doesn't really serve Black people. It really doesn't. It doesn't really benefit Black people. The numbers do not suggest that. The numbers don't bear that out. Now, Tim did a much better review of this, but to him, he says it's mostly for LGBTQ and all this stuff, and it's not necessarily benefiting Black people.
No, and unfortunately, that is the problem with somebody like Al Sharpton. It is very financially beneficial to continue this grift.
See?
So we're just going to be walking through this Costco at random and looking like we really care. We don't.
Oh, it's like we're just following Al.
How many of them actually have Costco memberships?
Who knows? It's just Al being a spectacle because he's a spectacle.
And they're using them as pawns. And the most confused.
Yes, Maeve, I know that there are Black people that are LGBTQ too. That is not my point. What Tim was referencing and what he was saying is that DEI laws are generally more to the benefit of that particular community and specifically also to women. DEI and affirmative action was way more beneficial to women than it ever helped the Black community. And I do know that there are, but that particular group of Black people, and as somebody who has spent a lot of time like in different communities campaigning and doing stuff, that group of Black people were older Black people, most likely church related, and they were voters. That was that group of people right there. Those were not the LGBTQ radical Black leftists. Okay. That's not who that group was. That group were just your run of the mill, working, older, middle-aged and older Black people. Did you not see it that way?
And as you've said before, it is very generational. There is something to be said for the issues that exist in the Black community, especially when you ran, and the people who got defensive about Debbie.
Yeah.
For what reason? What has she ever done for you other than show up at your, occasional event, whether it's at the church, even if it's a barbecue, whatever it is? That's not improving your life. But I also think there's something to be said for the generational trauma that gets beaten into people's heads in certain communities, where they really think that if we do not adhere to, the white devil, if you will, like DWS, that something really terrible will happen to them, even worse than the current circumstances they're living in.
Well, it's fear-based.
Of course, and that's why there still, unfortunately, as we would continually try to point out, that Al Sharpton is nothing but damaged goods, that a lot of people still, for some reason, hold an affinity towards him, thinking that he's somehow doing good
Again,
work.
look at the age group and the demographic of those people. That is a dying breed of people. That is the older generation. And when I see people talking in the chat about being, you're in the LGBT group, and I saw somebody say they're trans and you can't get hired. That makes me so sad. Like, I wish I could give you a job. I really do. But the problem with the DEI and they do things like that is they do use the LGBTQ community. It's this pink washing bullshit, which is the stuff that they used to do. Zionists would do that about, you'd be dead if you were in Palestine, but Israel is so much better for gay people. They use that community as sort of this barometer of how progressive they are. And somehow that in and of itself attracts stupid ass neolibs that that's all that matters to them, is the appearance of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it's really just, it's not something that I truly think in the real world benefits Black people. That's just my understanding.